The next aspect of the practice, which I always try to encourage, is that the stabilizing is one of the basic ones we talked about in the beginning. Developing the clarity of mind, the strength of the mind, feeling good about that, being able to stabilize, and we enter into our life. Later in meditation, the practice of contemplation is very, very important. And I've encouraged people as much as I can to say, this is an important aspect of the meditation practice. Take a contemplation. Now, in particular, I've tried to introduce the principles of compassion and the principles of love. And one thing is that with the practice of meditation, saying these are innate in us, these qualities are innate in us, and we need to develop that. And what we mean by contemplation is that before we were trying to get a separation from thoughts. We're trying to let thoughts go, stay present. Now what we do is we utilize certain thoughts that are helpful. And one for compassion or love, the wish for love, the notion of kindness. And within the context of the meditation tradition, we say, what is the definition of love in this particular way? It's wishing all sentient beings to have happiness. Whoever we encounter, we look into their eyes, and our intention for them is saying, oh, I hope that person has happiness. I hope that person is able to achieve what they want in life, whatever it may be, if it's a small thing or it's a big thing. You know, if they have a cut on their finger, may it heal. May they, in the larger context, may they be Buddha. May they achieve enlightenment. But it's interesting because what we're trying to do here is that we're trying to switch something. We're trying to switch something that's very interesting. When we begin to do this in meditation, what we begin to find is that as we begin to follow our thought pattern, as we begin to see what's happening, we realize all our thinking, or most of our thinking is about me. And that we realize that as we get up in the morning, it's usually how we define a good day or a bad day is what happened for me. If things worked out well for me today, it's a good day. If I got the right parking spot and I got the right thing and they had my favorite thing on the menu and whatever it was, say, oh, it was a good day for me. And what we begin to realize is that actually our life, is always kind of involved with me. The search for happiness in this particular way, the search for satisfying me, in Buddhist language is called samsara. And samsara is a word that means circular. And what that means is that we're spinning our wheels. We think, the way I like to think about it sometimes is, samsara is, there's a lot of complicated ways we can talk about it, but we can say samsara is that feeling, that sense in the mind saying, oh, just one more thing, just one more bite, just one more word, just one more thing, and then I'll be fine. And then we realize that 20 years later, it's just that one more bite, it's the one more thing. And we begin to realize, what is this leading to in my life? What is this? What kind of fruition is coming about? So at a certain point, we say, oh, maybe I need to change the perspective of how I'm living. I need to now put others first. And that's the notion of compassion and love. And what's interesting with the notion of compassion and love is that when we sit there and contemplate may all sentient beings be happy, or the definition of compassion, may all sentient beings be free from suffering. May people not suffer. May beings not suffer. And having that is their intention of our life. It's very simple. It's very simple, and people say, oh, that seems so simple. But then we kind of flip it around saying, what else is our attitude? What else is going on in our mind? Usually, I hope it works out for me. What about me? What are you going to give me? And we begin to look and saying, we have these two choices. What about me or what about others? And what's interesting with the practice of what about others is that what kind of feeling does that leave with us with? How do we feel? We usually feel happy. We usually feel joyous. And what I like to think is that, one of my favorite sayings is, if you want to be miserable, think about yourself. If you want to be happy, think about others.